Good morning and welcome to BeetTech26. This is your BeetTech. Hopefully you find today an interesting session, and I'd like to thank all the vendors for turning up today and making this event as interesting as it possibly can be for you all. We'll start off with the welcome part, probably the least interesting part of the day for you. Hopefully there's many more interesting things to go through today, but I'll cover off the formalities. So there's a lot of people in the room I won't have met yet. My name's Stephen Swainston. I'm the new Managing Director of BBRO. I have been with BBRO since the end of May, so I've now been there for 8 months as an organisation. And I thank a lot of people in the room and the team at BBRO for helping get me established and understanding how BBRO works, and everyone on farm for helping me to learn how things work on farm as well. So thank you all very much for your support over the last 8 months. For some people, they think I've been here a lot longer than that, but it is only 8 months. So let's go through the formalities of the morning. A welcome briefing wouldn't be a welcome briefing without reminding you about the health and safety side of things. So the Wi-Fi code, very importantly, is on the bottom left-hand side of the screen. So if you do need to use the Wi-Fi, the details are there for you to log into. There are no fire alarms scheduled for today, so if the alarm does go off, I'm sure you've been in this hall many times. For me, this is the first time being at Newark Showground, but emergency exits are in the corners of the room. And the assembly point is over this side of the car park. So if the alarm goes off, let's please make our way out of the building. Now, you're all very, very busy people, and we do appreciate you giving us your time this morning to come to BeetTech. But if we could please put our phones on silent, that would be very helpful so that it doesn't disturb any of the presentations. And if you do need to take a call, if you could please make your way to the back of the room, that would be immensely helpful. Thank you. So, for those that came to BeetTech last year, Mark presented a slide of the team, a nice photograph on the stairs at Norwich, because last year was a very stressful year for BBRO and the changes that went on within it. For me, I'm a little bit more formulaic, so I have an organisational structure. What I really wanted to highlight to you is that BBRO is more than one person deep, that there is a whole team of people dedicated to delivering the research and the work that we are undertaking for all of you. On the slide, I've also highlighted some people in red because last year they weren't here. So there are 4 new faces on that screen, with myself being the main one in the middle, but not the most important change. What we've worked through is the changes in the organisation. We have a new finance manager in Laura, who started with us in January, so she's been with us all of a few weeks. And Michelle, in the bottom right-hand corner, joined in January as well. So myself and Libby have been here for 8 months, and we now have a reasonable understanding of how everything works. But what's important is there's a lot of members of the team here. Please talk to them today. They'll be helping you move around in the sessions today as well, so please don't be strangers. So what have we been doing over the last few months? What have we done differently since we all met last year? One of the biggest changes we've done is we've been listening to what you want from BBRO, and one of the things that has been highlighted is our website's not very good. It has a lot of information in it, but being able to find it was quite tricky. I have to say, from an interview process, I also would agree with that summary, that I found it difficult to navigate. For that reason, we have built a new website, and we've added some functionality which will hopefully make life a little bit easier. So we've slimmed down the menu options. We've tried to make it easier to find information within it, so hopefully making life easier for yourself. But more importantly, in the top right-hand corner, what you want to know, you can now search for, which you couldn't on the previous iteration of our website. So hopefully this functionality will help tremendously with you being able to find what you need and want from BBRO's site. The other thing, the recommended list is on our website and has been there for a long time, but it's been in a PDF format, which is basically a piece of paper digitally for you to look at and review. The RL is getting more complicated as we move forward. There are more lines to consider. There's more information to take in and work through. So the document itself becomes a little bit more complicated. To that end, you can now find a new version of the RL on the website. The 2026 version is currently live on there, and we will be launching the 2027 version very soon. But I would urge you to have a look at it and feedback what you feel and find of it yourselves. But what's important is you'll be able to filter on what you're looking for in traits. So the example on the screen being BCN, and then you can pull down all the varieties that have BCN tolerance will come up on the screen. A further drop down will show you the last 3 years of data to support this, but Mark will explain this in a lot more detail after the break when discussing the RL. But today we're going to mention the website several times because it is the home of everything that BBRO has to offer. It is the best place to find information other than ringing us up and having a conversation directly. So hopefully it's a useful resource, and we're trying to make it more useful for you in the future. So today, you all had a file when you came in with a very difficult binder to unlock at the top, but within it is today's agenda. And I can see from a few smiles in the audience that it is difficult to do that top bit of the file. So the agenda's in this, it's on the second page. And after my brief presentation this morning, we'll be moving into the beatbox sections like we did last year. So this is our second year of running beatboxes. You will all have a set of headphones. This group of the audience here will take from these headphones, so you'll remain seated, both front rows will remain seated, and you'll take your headphones. The headphones you'll keep with you, you'll take round, so you've got your set with you, you'll take them round to each of the 4 beatbox sessions we have. What I would highlight on them is there's a red button on the side, and we're just highlighting this because we had a few little challenges in last week with it. And the button is basically you switch it on, it'll show a colour, each set has a different colour, and you cycle round to a different colour for the different sessions that will be highlighted when they start. Now, one of the challenges we faced last week is once you cycle round a lot, you get to flashing colours. And the flashing colours, there'll be nobody there. So if you keep going until the colour's a solid colour, you'll get to listen to something rather than nothing. So it's just something to bear in mind as you work through this morning. So from an agenda perspective, after the break, Professor Simon Pearson has joined us today. I can't see him in the audience at the moment, but I know you're here, Simon. Oh, you're over there. Good. And we'll be going through agritech and the advantages and what challenges we're facing going forward. So after the break, we've got some interesting sessions and some useful information to share, starting with Simon. We'll then move on to Mark talking about the RL. Again, we'll highlight the website changes that we put into place and go through all of those details to make sure that everybody's feeling comfortable and happy with the new list that we have and the way we can interact with it. And any questions you have, please don't hesitate to ask after the sessions are finished. Then after that, we'll be moving on to beet moth strategy. We've obviously had beet moth has been a significant issue this year. It's had a significant impact on the crop, and we have signed off a piece of research that we'll be doing for the next 3 years, and Alistair and Eleanor will explain how that breaks down and what we'll be doing and how we'll be able to feed back to you over the course of that research. But we understand that we need to do a lot of work in that area, and we'd like to share that with you today. And finally, as you came in today, you'll have noticed a series of signs as you came in. We are relaunching, in a sense, initiatives of back to basics. There have been several iterations of what we've done over the years in terms of focusing on basics. And Beat Your Best is going to be the vehicle in which we focus our information going forward. We'll be breaking it down in a calendar sense in terms of all of our activities. Our bulletins, fact files, all information will link back to colour schemes and information that will all tie together. So our KE strategy will be similar. It doesn't matter the platform, whether it's a reading material, whether it's a podcast, whether it's a bulletin, they'll all tie together in a more coherent way than they have done to date, and therefore hopefully helping you to navigate that information. Over time, the next step of this will be that you tell us what the areas are that you're most interested in, and we start to tailor-make our messages for groups of people who are interested in specific targets and topics, and therefore helping to support you in the areas which you want our support, rather than us giving you a message that's one message for everybody. So our objective is to try to become more relevant to everybody in the room. Now, as I said, from the sessions perspective, these groups will remain here. Some of my colleagues are going to pop out of the wilderness somewhere with some signs which will have some letters on them, and you'll basically follow them around like tourist guides around the room for the next hour. And they are coming out behind you now, so they're ready to go around. I hope you find today's session useful, and as I say, I haven't met a lot of people in the room, and I hope we do have the opportunity to say hello and get to meet each other either through the break or afterwards, but I very much welcome any conversations and feedback that you might have for today. So with no further ado, I hand over to the letters. So if these two groups remain, and if you could, the group at the back left could please follow Will with the letter D, and Paige with the letter B, and we can move around the room. Thank you very much.